It's a common misconception that Arizona is hot year-round. Through the winter, we actually get really bitter cold nights. Being a sanctuary with cold-blooded animals, it's important that we can provide heat throughout the cold winter nights here at the sanctuary. We've had to perfect our technique over the years to provide insulated and heated spaces for these animals to make it through these colder nights. Once it gets below 60 degrees at night, we enact our winterizing plan. We have to do a lot of things here at the sanctuary to prep for the winter months. So it's extremely important that we make sure that they have heated spaces for them to retreat to. It's very important that we make sure that they stay heated throughout the entirety of the night. One bitter cold night could be life or death for these animals. This pen here, we have one of the insulated heated boxes in here already for our Cuban iguana Ricky. We're gonna go check it out. It's right in this pen right here. Ricky is already in here. So they even enjoy it through the day. We have a mounted heat pad here as well, so that keeps this nice and warm and well insulated for him to enjoy. And clearly, even still in the middle of the day when it's nice and warm out, he's still enjoying this box. So he's got his own burrow that he dug throughout the summer over there, and he is still selecting the heated house over his own dug burrow. We have one of our Grand Cayman rock iguanas in here, Hellboy, and two girls with him. And they've also been enjoying their heated box. It looks like Hellboy's sitting out right here. He's getting some of the sun, so he's getting to enjoy the sunny day. And then at night, he'll make his way back into his little heated box back here. It looks like one of the females is right here as well.
Around 60 outside is kind of when we start making sure everybody's good to go. And a lot of that is bringing our iguanas inside. The long-term plan is to make essentially these outdoor heated houses so they could stay outside for a large portion of winter, but for now, Alex and me set up this sort of cage structure inside where we're able to just shovel iguanas away. For now, it's not something that is ideal, but we continue to get iguanas in from people that don't know how to take care of them, and it's our responsibility to be able to give them a home. Yeah, some of our monitors stay outside during the winter, and we insulate and heat the inside of their outdoor enclosures.
This cage is entirely covered in insulation foam. We have to put this up every year for the winter months for our monitor lizards that are much too large to go indoors. We have to then heat these outdoor enclosures as well with thermostats, heat elements, and heat bulbs with UV as well to make sure that they're getting kind of that natural sunlight that they need as well. In this enclosure here, we have our Asian water monitor Squeegee. There he is. He's hanging out, staying nice and warm. We have our heaters up here, and the insulation keeps that heat from entirely dissipating into the environment. So this is how we have to keep some of these larger monitor lizards warm throughout the winter months. Next, we'll take a look at what we do for the crocodilians for the winter months. For our crocodilians, we have to do a couple of different things to make sure their ponds stay warm throughout the winter. For our small nursery tubs like this, we cut insulation foam that fits on the top of their enclosure here, so that way it helps retain the heat that the heat stick that's in the pond is producing. We have a thermostat that we have set up here that is set to a particular temperature that we want to maintain. There's a heat element in the pond that is encased in plastic so that the animal doesn't have access to that, because we don't want them to hurt themselves on the heater or anything like that. So and then the temperature is regulated by the thermostat. Once it hits the ideal temperature that we have it set to, the heat stick will shut off and it'll maintain that temperature throughout the night. On some of our coldest nights, it's imperative that we make sure that these insulation pads are in place. Otherwise, the heat stick can't keep up and make sure that that pond stays at that accurate temperature. For our smaller croc ponds, we have a setup that's very similar to our nursery tubs. We have a thermostat that controls a heat stick that's in the pond. The thermostat's set to a particular temperature we want the pond to be at, and that thermostat will turn the heat stick on and off to make sure that this pond stays at that proper temperature. With crocodilians, it's really important that we make sure that these ponds are nice and warm. This is one of the big differences that you see between alligators and crocodilians. Alligators can handle much, much colder temperatures than most species of crocodilians. For our larger crocodilian ponds, those small heat sticks aren't going to put out nearly enough heat to make sure that a pond this large is going to stay warm. With these, they actually have inline heaters that go through the normal pump system. So as the water is filtered, it's also heated. This is also why it's really important that we make sure that we have overnight keepers here to make sure that those heaters are staying at the right temps. The overnight keepers come around 3 times a night and they take temperatures of each one of the ponds. If any of those temperatures are too cold, they have a whole bunch of things they have to go through to make sure that those heaters are working properly.
How's it going, guys? This is Elijah with the Phoenix Herpetological Sanctuary. I'm our night keeper, and right now it is the first night that we have been switched over to the nighttime schedule. So we'll be here from 5 p.m. to 4 a.m. and we'll be here mainly to check the crocodilian pond temps and see if they're still being warmed, if they're not being warmed, and if that happens, we're gonna have to replace some stuff or anything like that. But we'll see how tonight goes. The first croc that we're going to tempt tonight is gonna be good old grandma right here. This is our female false gharial. She's the oldest false gharial in captivity, and because of her age, it's really important that she's one of the ponds that gets heated at night because we don't want her getting too cold. She's doing real good for us. So let's see what her pond's at right now. Good 71 degrees. That's great temps. The next old timer that we have here is going to be Nessie. She's our black caiman. She's one of the few that we have, and she's actually also the oldest black caiman in captivity. So she's a real good girl. Let's see what temp her pond's at. Same temp as grandma's. Real good, real nice 71 degrees. Here we are at probably one of the most important things to check on property for temp-wise. This is one of our 2 nurseries. This is where all of our baby crocs are, and these guys are super susceptible to getting real cold a lot faster than their adult counterparts. So these guys we like to double and triple check most of the time when we come here for temps. Let's check on little Leroy here, our little baby Nile croc. And his temperature is true to what his thermostat is saying. It's a good 77, 78 degrees. He's looking real good in there. It's really important to keep the temps around here going smoothly, to make sure everything has power, to make sure everything is going smoothly. I love walking around the sanctuary at night and seeing these animals doing their own thing, sometimes even breeding or calling for each other. So I really enjoy this, and I'm glad that I can contribute to helping the sanctuary run smoothly.
The tortoises also need a lot of preparation for the winter months. All of these houses we have in these pens are all heated with ceramic heat emitters. They don't produce any light, but they produce heat inside of these houses. We have to make sure all of those heaters are plugged in and running, none of them are burned out, and that these houses are staying to an accurate temp that we want them to be at. So every night when it's getting below 55 degrees, we have to take the whole team and we personally move every single one of these tortoises into those houses if they haven't put themselves in. Now, as we get farther into the winter months, they get more and more accustomed to doing that themselves, and we may only have to put 20 or so tortoises into the houses, but we can't leave them out in the pen before the night starts. We have to make sure that they know where the houses are and that they get a chance to go in as well. So we will pick them up and we'll put them in those houses in a space where it's available for them, and that way we can make sure that they stay nice and warm all night long. To give you kind of a perspective of what it looks like in here, in our tortoise houses, we have heat lamps with heat elements in them. They're 250 watt heat elements because this is a large space that needs to be heated. So we have 4 250 watt heat elements in here so that on the coldest nights, it still stays nice and warm in here for them. This is just a few of the things that we have to do to get ready for winter. The key thing here is that all these animals need to stay warm through the whole winter long. So we need to do whatever it takes to make sure that that happens.
Being a zoo full of cold-blooded creatures, it's obviously a very chaotic time of year for us, and it comes together pretty quickly. You know, it follows right after our Tucson show, so it's kind of all hands on deck, just getting this place into order as far as, I mean, there's no one here that's not working on winterizing these animals. Everybody has hands in the pot, so.
Yeah, we usually see the temperatures drastically drop pretty quickly. Usually it'll be fine. We'll be having nighttime temperatures above 60 degrees regularly, and then all of a sudden we have one cold night randomly, and that's when we have to make sure that everything gets done. And we can't leave until everything's done and everybody's heated and warm.
Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay tuned for future videos, like these. We will be producing new content on a regular basis, and thanks to your support, we have become the biggest channel of any zoological facility in Arizona. Thank you.